Fantastic. Hello, everybody. And I'll just give people a sec to quickly trickle in. And let me get this recording for us before we commence with the presentation.
Good evening, Eric. We're all ready for recording.
Ah, fantastic. Well, welcome everybody to tonight's presentation. This is our bi-weekly webinar, and this is the third part of a three-part series on Microsoft Office Word. And today's presentation is going to divert away from the explorative nature of our previous presentations. We will be using the ribbon, but we will be approaching tonight's presentation with the idea that we have a basic understanding of how to navigate a ribbon, of how to navigate a dialog box, and how to identify and interact with certain controls. We also are approaching this as if we are completely familiar with the three main panes of Word and with a basic understanding of what formatting is and with what things like font and bold and italic and text effects are. And we're going to piggyback off of that, knowing what something is, and actually approach things tonight with the idea of this is how it's done using JAWS with no vision, non-visually, and fully accessibly, of course. And before I continue, I just want to let you guys know how to participate tonight. If you wish to join the conversation on your Windows computer, Alt+Y will raise your hand, which will add you to the queue, and you can verbally speak to us tonight. Alt+H will open the chat window, and you can input your messages that will be screened tonight by Aaron Hoffman. He is our adaptive tech instructor.
Hello.
And on your telephone, *9 will raise your hand as well. We do encourage the conversation. We do encourage questions, feedback, comments, and even suggestions in all forms of constructive criticism. If you guys have any, of course, you can find the handouts and the presentations on the archive, which are included in the handout. You can also email us if you wish for us to provide you with the handout for tonight's presentation or any previous presentation, as well as a link to a recording of tonight or a previous presentation. Just email me, eric.cifuentes@austinlighthouse.org, or you can email Aaron at aaron.hoffman@austinlighthouse.org. So let's approach tonight's presentation not by explaining what things are as far as what a dialog box is and what a ribbon is, but let's actually approach a document with the idea that we have text that we wish to edit and apply formatting to for it to look unique or professional, or for it to have some sort of distinct visual quality that sets it apart from standard uh, bland text. And by standard bland text, I mean the standard blank template that is included with all Microsoft Word documents. Of course, there are different forms of templates that you can use that have their predefined attributes already established, but we're going to go with the default blank document template, which is an 11-point Calibri font with very basic text, no bold, no italics, no strike through. There are no fancy fonts. There are no special line spacings. It's single spaced, and it uses very basic body text. No headings, no different styles. And that seems like a lot of information, so let's break it down. So we'll start by opening Word. Stop share left leaving menu, search box edit, W-O-R-D, Word app, press right to switch preview. Oh, let me slow down speech just a tad. Slower. All right, now I'm gonna press enter on Word. Enter, opening dash, list box Word, new list box, blank document, 1 of 7, Alt followed by F, H, Y2. And just to demonstrate real quick, when you first open Word, you're in the Backstage view, but right here you see a predefined list of templates. By default, focus is put on the initial blank document template. But if you down arrow,
Modern chronological cover letter. Blue gray resume. Welcome to Word. Single spaced left parent blank right parent. Snapshot calendar. Insert your first table of contents tutorial.
you see a multitude of different templates, from cover letters to resumes to table of contents. And if you tab,
More templates link. Alt followed by FHYB.
you can see more templates. And this link will open a little search query where you can look for certain types of templates. Microsoft offers literally hundreds or thousands of templates. Uh, and each template is slightly unique or different to another, and they can be used for different scenarios. I want to disclaimer that Microsoft does not build these templates with accessibility in mind. So you might have certain attributes that might make navigating a document that you build off of one of these templates very difficult. So I suggest either Googling for some sort of template that is accessible, or just building your own. It's not too difficult, and we're going to do that tonight. Something very basic, of course. So to select the regular blank document template, I'll just press escape.
Escape. Print view edit.
And I'm in the print view edit. So now I'm in the main edit pane of a Word document. Of course, here if I start typing like so, this
space one. Enter.
and press enter, I can just start typing. Now, let's start off by recognizing once again what formatting a blank document is comprised of. And by what formatting, again, we mean what font, what size, what line spacing. Is there a bold? What style of font is it? Is it a bold font? Is it an italicized font? And to do so, we're going to chord insert plus F. And again, a chord is two or more keys held down simultaneously to carry out one action. All right, so hold down the insert and press F.
11 point, black on white, calibri, normal style, line spacing, one lines, paragraph formatting, aligned left, outline level, body text.
Cool. And right there, we heard quite a lot of information spoken out loud. Insert F is going to tell us quite a lot of different attributes when it comes to our document. It's hard to memorize all of these attributes because there's around 6, 7, 8, there's quite a few of them. So in order to be able to gauge everything that Josh just spat out at you, it would take several presses of this. But you can sidestep this by virtualizing the format checker. Okay, and by virtualizing, all that virtualizing means is that it takes something that JAWS says and puts it into a little window that you can arrow up and down through. So let me show you real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the insert and I'm going to press F twice. So while holding down the insert key, I'm going to press F twice quickly.
Insertion point formatting 11.
All right, now I've opened a tiny little window, and this tiny little window just has everything that the format checker speaks out loud, but now I can navigate through everything that has been spoken out loud at my leisure using the arrow keys. So I'm going to press Control Home to get to the top of this little window.
Insertion point formatting.
All right, now let's start down arrowing line by line.
11 point.
11 point.
Black on white.
Black on white.
Calibri.
Calibri.
Normal style.
Normal style.
Lang. Line spacing, one lines. Lang. Paragraph formatting, aligned left. Lang. Outline level, body text. Lang. Press escape to
all right, and here at the bottom, we'll tell you that you are actually in a virtualized window by telling you to
press escape to close this message.
Press escape to close this message. So right here, you saw quite a lot of different pieces of information, very related to one another though. Font attributes, line spacing attributes, style attributes. All of these combined compose the foundation of formatting a document. You can go above and beyond this, but for tonight, let's focus on changing a few things, or let's change the very basic attributes of a document using both the ribbon, and let's also use hotkeys. So before we do that though, I want to show you how or I want to explain to you how the format checker works. The format checker is going to check the formatting of where your cursor is at, which means the cursor is a blinking dot positioned on the screen, which means that the cursor at one given point can only be on one letter. So when you do insert F, you are only checking the formatting of one letter, the letter that focus is temporarily on. This is going to make checking a document for uniformity's sakes very difficult because let's say the first letter of a word or one word, it has a
Alert.
12-point
Diana to all
font.
panelists, I can't hear Jaws speak. Could you please increase sound?
Oh, sure. Let's see. Actually, I think that might be a volume side thing.
Leaving
Let's
menus.
see.
Document 1 dash work. Meeting controls. Menu. Mute. Current. Stop share left. Dock to top button. Stop mute. Audio settings button. Drop. Start.
Yes, I believe that the screen share is dependent on the listener's volume. Unfortunately, let me. Is my JAWS any louder, Aaron?
Video setting F3. Open part.
Very
Option.
marginally.
Video.
Hmm.
Start.
A little bit.
Video
Okay.
settings. Leaving menus.
I
Document
did
1.
raise my volume some, but I believe you'll have to raise your own volume some yourself, Diane, because it's more reliant on your own computer audio. Please let me know if you can hear a little bit better.
Blank. This is line 1.
Okay. So we're let's see. I apologize. Okay, so since you can only check the formatting of one single letter because of where your cursor's at, there's a workaround. Just like copying a piece of text or modifying any piece of text, you have to select what piece of text you want to check the formatting of. So you'll have to select the section of document, for example. In this case, I want to just check the formatting of the entire document as a whole. So I'm going to chord Control A for select all.
Selected. This is line 1.
And of course, my document right now is 2 lines. This is line 1 and line 2. But both of the lines are now selected because I used to select all command, Control A. Now I'm going to use insert plus F.
11 point. Black on white. Calibri. Highlighted. Normal style. Line spacing colon 1 lines. Paragraph formatting colon aligned left. Outline level colon body text.
And now you heard Josh say one different thing. Now it said that the text is highlighted. This tells you that, okay, there's more than one letter now selected, or more than one letter is being checked because because text is highlighted right now. So when you highlight something, when you run the format checker with insert F, JAWS will announce that that text is highlighted. That makes things a lot easier because now you know, oh, okay, I'm not just checking one letter, I'm checking X amount of text. And that X amount of text is completely dependent on you. You can do Control A and that will change. You can do Control A and that will run a format check for the entire document, regardless of how many pages or lines of text you have. Or you can select one line or one word and check how a document looks with that as to how a document's formatting how that line's formatting or how that word's formatting may appear. So it's completely up to user discretion how much you want to check. So for this case, I'm going to go ahead and make this document 5 lines long. I'm going to give this 5 lines of text, and we're going to run formatting. We're going to format each line of text differently, different ways. All right, so let me just quickly type in 4 more lines of text.
T-A-S-I-S-L-I-N-E space 2 enter. T-A-I-S-I-S-L-I-N-E space 3 enter. T-A-I-S-I-S-L-I-N-E space 4 enter. T-A-I-S-I-S-L-I-N-E space 5.
All right, now we have 5 lines of text.
This is line 4. This is line 5. This is line 5.
There you go. And now we hear this is line 5. We have 5 lines, each numbered at the very end. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select the entire document. First, we'll format the entire document.
Selected. This is line 1. This is line 2. This is line 3. This is line 4. This is line 5.
So when you select the entire document, it starts to read it all out. You can just press Control to make JAWS be quiet. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to go into the font dialog box using the ribbon. So Alt-H to get to the Home tab.
Alt-H, lower ribbon, Home tab,
Control right arrow to move to the Font Group box.
Home, Clipboard, Paste, Split, Font Edit Combo collapsed.
Now I'm going to find the Font ... button. So I'll start tabbing.
Font size edit, Grow font, shrink font button, menu changed, clear formatting button, bold button, not italic button, not underline split button, strike through button, subscript button, superscript button, not menu text highlight, font color split, font ... button, alt followed by HFN.
So here we are at the Font ... button. And remember that a ... button is a button that will launch a dialog box. And these ... buttons are spread throughout the ribbon. Usually they are at the end of a group box. For example, the clipboard group box in the Home tab has a Office clipboard ... button. And so does the font group box have a font ... button. And again, these dialog boxes make changing a bunch of attributes that are similar very easy, as you can change all of these attributes in one place in one go instead of having to make multiple trips back and forth between the ribbon. So to launch the dialog box, I'm going to go ahead and press enter.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, font, edit combo plus body.
All right, so let's change the font to Times New Roman. I'm going to type in time into the font edit combo. Now I'm going to down arrow.
Times New Roman.
Times New Roman. So I just skipped over 2,000 fonts in one key press. Now let's change the size of the font. So to move through a dialog box, you tab.
Font style : edit combo regular.
All right, let's bold this.
Italic, bold.
All right, now we'll change the size.
Size : edit combo 11, 12, 14.
We'll make it 14. And now I'll give this some strike through.
Font color left parent. Underline stop. Strike through checkbox not checked. Alt space checked.
All right, and now let's tap to the OK button to save our changes.
Double super subscript check. Small caps check. All caps checkbox. Hidden checkbox. Set as default but text effects. OK button. Edit.
Okay. So now I'm going to use Insert F to read out our new changes or to verify that our new changes have actually been carried out. So let's do Insert F.
Bolded, strike through, 14 point, black on white, Times New Roman, highlighted, normal style, line spacing, : 0 lines, paragraph formatting, : aligned left, outline level, : body text.
All right, so now let's deselect these and go line by line. If you really want to verify that all of these lines have been actually changed to a certain different style of font or a different set of attributes. So just move the cursor. You can move the cursor up, down, left, right arrow, doesn't matter, and that will deselect any text that you may have selected before. This is going to make deselecting things easy. So again, when you're selecting text with selection commands, remember, do not move your cursor using standard navigation commands because that's going to deselect literally everything you've just done. So I'm going to go ahead and move the cursor.
This is line 5. This is line 4.
So let's go over to line 1.
Top of file. This is line 1.
I'm going to go to the beginning of the line with the Home key.
Home.
All right. And now let's do Insert F.
Bolded, strike through, 14 point, black on white, Times New Roman, normal style, line spacing, : 0 lines, paragraph formatting, : aligned left, outline level, : body
All
text.
right. Now let's check out line 2.
This is line bolded, strike through, 14 point, black on white, Times New Roman, normal style, line spacing, : 0 lines, paragraph formatting, : aligned left.
Now let's go to the bottom line of the document and just make sure that the bottom line is also formatted like the top line.
This is line 4. This is line 5. Alt Shift F10. Bolded, strike through, 14 point, black on white, Times New Roman, normal style, line spacing, : 0 lines, paragraph formatting, : aligned left, outline level, : body text.
Cool. So we have 5 lines with uniform formatting, 14 point, black on white, strike through, bolded, etc., etc. All right. We use the ribbon to access the font ... dialog box, but there's an even quicker way of reaching the font dialog box, and this is where hotkeys come into play. So this time I want to only change the formatting of the first line. So let's go to the top of the document.
Top of file. This is line.
Let's press Home to move to the first letter of the first line.
Home.
And now we'll do Shift down arrow to select the current line we're on. So Shift down arrow will select everything from the cursor position to the end of the line. So to select an entire line, you're going to want to move to the beginning of a line, and then you Shift down arrow to select from the beginning of the line, where your cursor's at, to the end of the line. So let's do shift down arrow.
Selected. This is line 1.
And I'll do shift down arrow one more time.
Selected. This is line 2.
Now we have lines 1 and 2 selected. If I want to deselect line 2, I'll just press shift up arrow.
Unselected. This is line 2.
Remember, with selection, just like navigation, if you can navigate forward, you can navigate backwards. Likewise, with selection or highlighting, if you can select one way, you can select the other way. You'll never accidentally over-select. So even if you do over-select, you can always trace your steps backwards, like I just did. All right, I want to change this first line to a fancy font. So let's find a fancy font and make it 10-point, very small. Instead of having to go to the ribbon with Alt-H and then finding the ... button, I'm just going to go ahead and do Control plus Shift plus F. This is a 3-key chord, or a three-key chord. Instead of 2 keys, we're using 3 keys simultaneously to carry out one action. Control plus Shift, and then that letter F.
Control Shift F, font colon, edit combo, Times New Roman.
All right, we just carried out a task that took about 10 seconds in literally half a second. So now we're becoming even more efficient. So let's find ourselves a really fancy font.
The serif hand light.
Why not? The serif hand light sounds really nice, right? I'll do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and give this line an italic instead of a bold.
Font style colon, edit combo, bold, italic, size colon, edit combo, 4.
And we're going to make this 10-point.
12, 11, 10.
And we'll remove the strike through.
Font underline, strike through checkbox checked, alt space not checked.
All right, and now let's shift tab to the OK button. You can tab. Remember that when you're navigating a dialog box, if going backwards is closer to the end, then go backwards. You cannot get lost in a dialog box because you will always wrap around to the beginning. You can tab for an infinite amount of times, and you'll never ever see something different. You will always just circulate the same dialog box until your fingers fall off.
Font size, font style, font colon, font tab.
So now I'm navigating to the OK button to save my changes.
Cancel, OK but space, edit.
All right, now
This is line 1.
I deselected line 1 by moving my cursor.
This is line 1.
I'm going to check the first letter of line 1 for formatting now.
Home. Italicized, 10-point, black on white, the serif hand light, normal style, line spacing, colon 1 lines, paragraph formatting, colon aligned left, outline level, colon body text.
All right, now let's check the formatting of line 2.
This is line 2. Bolded, strike through, 14-point, black on white, Times New Roman, normal style, line spacing, colon 0 lines, paragraph 4.
Notice how line 1 has our brand new font with our fancy little font, the serif hand light or whatever it's called, and then it's also shrunk to 10-point font. And our second line has the same attributes that we changed the entire document to previously. I'm showing you how using selection commands in conjunction with any form of modification is going to allow you to flexibly change parts of a document at your leisure. This is going to make things very easy for you to give a document a certain formatting or a certain look while simultaneously preserving another part of a document to appear a different kind of way. So that's pretty cool right there. And that's just using the font dialog box. Now let's make these 4 lines down here appear a little differently. So let's give these 4 lines below line 1 a bold look, an italicized look, and let's make the font a lot bigger. But instead of using the dialog box this time, let's use actual hotkeys. This is the cool thing about very commonly used commands. Microsoft, JAWS, are both going to give you the ability to change commands without having to actually use the ribbon. You will not have to use the ribbon to change this certain attributes of a document. So let's go ahead and select the 4 lines below line 1. So let's find line 2.
This is line 1. This is line 2.
Press home to move to the beginning of the line.
Home.
And select down 4 times.
Selected. This is line 2. Selected. This is line 3. Selected. This is line 4. Selected. This is line 5.
All right. Now, if I wanted to make font changes the traditional way, I could use a ribbon to find the dialog box, I could use Control Shift F to quickly jump into the dialog box for fonts, or now I can use key commands. And there are various different key commands included in the handout that you can use to make changes. All right, and I'm going to show you most of them if I can remember them all. So first of all, I want to make this bold and italicized, right? So we're going to use Control B to bold.
Bold off.
Oh, it's already bolded. So let's turn bold back on.
Bold on.
Now we'll italicize with Control I.
Italic on.
All right, now we've italicized. If I wanted to unitalicize or de-italicize, is unitalicize. I could just do Control I.
Italic off.
And I've turned it off. But I want it on, so I'm going to go ahead and do Control I.
Italic on.
All right, we've bolded and we've italicized. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, there's no strike through command because no one really strike throughs all that much. But people do bold and people do italicize it. Hotkeys exist to make carrying out commonly used commands very, very swift. Remember that not every action in the ribbon has a respective key command or hotkey because that would give us thousands of hotkeys. We're only going to use hotkeys for the most commonly used actions in the ribbon. And a lot of these font actions are very, very common. So Control B will bold and Control I will italicize. Okay, that's cool. But now how do we make the font bigger and smaller? There's actually a key command, two key commands that will alternate the size of the font. And that is Control Shift period and Control Shift comma. Again, Control Shift period will increase the size of the font and Control Shift comma will decrease the size of the font. So let's see how small we can get. We're gonna do Control Shift comma to make our font smaller. So Control and Shift and comma.
12 point.
12 point.
11 point.
11 point.
10 point.
10 point.
9 point.
9 point.
8 point.
8 point.
7 point.
7 point.
6 point.
6 point.
5 point.
5 point.
4 point.
4 point.
3 point.
3.
2 point.
2.
1 point. 1 point. 1 point.
You cannot get any smaller than 1 point. And you're either at this point right here, you either have X-ray vision or you're looking at this with a telescope. So microscope. So Control Shift comma is going to decrease the font by the increments in that font dialog box. That font dialog box has increments of font, and Control Shift comma and Control Shift period will navigate you by those sorts of increments. So we're going to go ahead and make this font. I want this to be the size of a Braille cell. No, let's just make it 18 point. We want standard large print, which is 18 point. So let's use Control Shift period to get to 18 point font.
2 point, 3 point, 4 point, 5 point,
5,
6 point,
6.
7 point, 8 point, 9 point, 10 point, 11 point, 12 point, 14 point, 16 point, 18 point.
There we go, 18 point. So without even having to use the dialog boxes, we've changed the size of the font, we've italicized and bolded our font. Unfortunately, if you wanted to make your font, if you wanted to change your font to a different font, as for example, Times New Roman to Tahoma or to Calibri, you'd actually have to go into the font dialog box. There's no shortcut to navigate through the over 3,000 fonts or whatever it is that Microsoft offers. But the cool thing is, once you've set your font to Times New Roman, there's really no need for you to change much, is there? There's really no need for you to change fonts anymore. But let's say you have a line of text that needs to stand out. For example, your name on a resume. The font doesn't need to change. Times New Roman looks professional enough. But you want your name to stand out and you want to make it 18 point large print. Why have to make a trip to the ribbon when you can just use Control Shift period to select the line? You can use Shift down arrow to select the line, and then you use Control Shift period to make the line bigger, and then bold your name with Control B. Now you've just done something that took 20 seconds or 15 seconds in 2 seconds, right? It's all about efficiency. These commands don't do anything different. All they do is they streamline the ability to carry out commonly used actions very, very swiftly. So that's pretty cool right there. Let's see. Oh, okay. When formatting, or checking the formatting of a document, when you have mixed formats in a document, let me show you what happens when you try to check the formatting of this document. Right now, line 1 has a different form set of attributes, and line 2 has its own set of attributes. And so does line 3, 4, and 5. So our document right now is not uniformly formatted, and that's fine. Most documents ever produced don't have a uniform formatting because of headings and because of titles and different attributes that we wish to use different places. So I'm going to go ahead and use Control A to select everything.
Selected. This is line 1.
There we go. Okay, we have everything selected. And now I'm going to use Insert F to run the format checker.
Italicized, mixed point size, black on white, mixed font, highlighted, normal style, line spacing, :0 lines, paragraph formatting, aligned left, outline level, body text.
Now JAWS has told us that we have several attributes that are mixed. And when it says mixed, it means, well, there's different forms of attributes here for certain things. So let's do Insert F twice and go line by line. Insert F twice to activate the format checker in a virtualized window.
Insertion.
All right, now we're going to use Control Home to get to the top.
Insertion. Insert.
Now we're going to go down line by line and read the format checker for the entire document that we selected.
Italicized.
Italicized. That means our entire document right now is italicized.
Mixed point size.
Mixed point size. That means, of course, that we have mixed point size. And in this case, the top line, I believe, is very tiny at 10 point, while the 4 bottom lines are at 12 or 14 point, or 18 point, actually 18 point. This means that there's a mixed point. Top line is 10, bottom 4 lines are 18.
Black on white.
Black on white. Our entire document uses the standard black on white, and we will look at changing colors here in a quick sec because you might want to do that. So black on white.
Mixed font.
Mixed font, and we know that because the top line has that fancy font, while the bottom 4 lines use that Times New Roman, or I think it was the other way around. But nevertheless, we know that we have 2 fonts currently existing in the document.
Normal style.
Normal style.
Blank. Line spacing, :0 lines.
Our line spacing is 0 lines, and that sounds about right. Although the truth is we're at 1 at single line spacing. And we'll talk about paragraph formatting here a tiny little bit in a sec.
Blank. Paragraph formatting, aligned left.
Aligned left.
Blank. Outline level, body text. Blank. Press escape to close the escape.
Okay.
Print view. Edit.
So we saw here that in order to check part of how a document is formatted, it's going to take a little bit of time if you have an unfamiliar document that's kind of large, right? Because you'll have to select different parts of text, or what you can do is you can find parts of text that are formatted strangely or differently, and you can decide yourself how you want a certain section of text to appear and format that entire section yourself to give the entire section a sense of uniformity or to format it a certain way. A lot of times, if you receive documents that have various different fonts or different attributes, you're going to want to run a little format check on it. And it's just going to take time. You're going to have to go not line by line, but you can find where you can find using deduction where you believe a section should have a certain set of equal attributes and do that yourself. And then just use Insert F to verify that these sections are all formatted to your standards. Hope that makes sense right there with the font. Let's quickly change the color of this whole document though. So let's go back into the font dialog box.
Escape.
I'll select all real quick.
This is line selected. This is
All right, now Control Shift F.
Control Shift F. Font.
And now let's go change the color real quick, just to show you everything is accessible here. So let's tab to font color.
Font style, size, edit, font color, left parent, automatic, right parent button.
All right, font color. Let's press enter. Oh, space bar.
Space, font color picker.
All right, we are here in the font color picker. So
color picker table, automatic button selected, Alt+A.
I down arrowed and it's an automatic, and that's black on white by default. You can change this by just down and right arrowing. The colors are arranged in a table form. So there's colors to the left and to the right and up and down. It almost looks like an Excel spreadsheet of colors. You have each cell is a different color or shade of a color. And the cool thing is JAWS will even differentiate between cells. So let's move right.
Theme colors. White. Background 1 button.
White, background 1.
Black. Text 1 button. Light gray. Background 2 button. Blue dash gray. Text 2 button. Blue accent 1 button. Orange accent 2 button. Gray accent 3 button. Gold accent 4 button. Blue accent 5 button. Green accent 6 button. White background 1. Darker. Black text 1. Lighter 50% button. Light gray background 2. Darker 10% button. Blue dash gray text 2. Lighter 80% button.
So here we're even being told if a color will affect the background or the foreground. And we're even being told how much brighter or darker something is, or how much more accent it has, or if it's accented. And to totally blind people, this can, this can not mean all that much. But for people who have seen before or have partial vision, or even if you are blind and have never seen color before, but you know which color you're looking for,
A. Document.
or have been told what your document should look like, then you can find the respective color you want and press enter on it.
Font color picker.
So I'm going to go ahead and just press enter on a random
Color
color.
pick theme color. White background 1. White background. Black text
Let's
1.
see.
Black text light blue. Blue accent 1. Lighter
There we go.
40% button.
We'll take a very light shade of blue.
Document 1 dash word. Font color left parent automatic right
All
parent
right.
button.
Now,
Size. Font color left parent accent 1 right parent button.
accent 1. So I'm going to go ahead and press OK,
Size.
or
Font.
tab to the OK button.
Font cancel. OK. Edit.
And now we're going to check with insert F.
Italicized. Mixed point size. Light sky blue 3 on white. Mixed font. Highlighted. Normal style.
Light sky blue on white. Now the entire document has a nice, beautiful little foreground of very nice little sky blue, very pretty, on a white background. So very snowy day. So that's the cool thing though. Nothing inside of that font dialog box is inaccessible. And you can always see what a document looks like too. You don't need to rely on someone. You can change the color of a font. You can bold and italicize. You can change the size, or you can change the font itself. And then you can check using the format checker what stuff looks like. And then you can select parts of the screen at your leisure and check what something else looks like and change that part of the screen yourself. So that's the cool thing right there. A few more keystrokes that I want to demonstrate real quick. So let's go ahead and select the entire document.
This is selected.
And now let's use the a few more keystrokes. And we won't go into the paragraph dialog box today because those concepts, they're not more advanced, but they're just going to cause this presentation to be a lot longer. But I want to quickly show you guys, there are some quick little keystrokes that you can use to change things, like the line spacing, Control 1 and Control 2. Control 1 will single space selected text, and Control 2 will double space it. So let's use Control 2 to double space it.
Control 2.
It didn't say that it's been double spaced, but now if we use Insert F,
Italicized. Mixed point size. Light sky blue 3 on white. Mixed font. Highlighted. Normal style. Line spacing colon double. Paragraph formatting.
We've seen that we've double spaced our document. And if I do Control 1,
Control 1.
now let's do Insert F.
Italicized. Mixed point size. Light sky blue 3 on white. Mixed font. Highlighted. Normal style. Line spacing colon single. Paragraph
We're at single spacing now. Similarly, if I want to change the alignment of all of my text, I can use one of three commands. Actually, it's one of four commands. We can use Control E
centered
to center, Control R
aligned right
to align to the right, Control L
aligned left
to align left, which is our standard alignment, and Control J
justified
to justify it, which makes it look nice and pretty with a column running down the center with text spilling off to the left and right of it, making it look all fancy. But let's go ahead and see. So now I'm going to go ahead and select the first line.
Selected. This is line 1.
And I'm going to justify it.
Aligned left.
And I'm going to use Control 2 to double space it.
Justify. Control 2. This is line 3.
And for line 2.
This is line 2.
Hold on, line 1. Let's go to line 1 real quick.
Selected. This is line 1.
Control 2.
Control 2.
And Control J.
Aligned left. Justified.
There we go. And now line 2.
This is line 3. This is line 2. Selected. This is line 2.
And we'll double space this one, or single space this one.
Control 1.
And align it to the right.
Aligned right.
Okay, now let's check the font. Let's check the formatting for both of these lines now. So the first line.
This is line 1.
Line 1.
Italicized. 10 point. Light sky blue 3 on white. A serif and light. Normal style. Line spacing colon double. Paragraph formatting colon justified. Outline level.
We've seen that it still has our tiny little font and it's got our cute little colors here, but now it's double spaced and it's at justified. That means this line right here has an extra space below it, right? Because we've double spaced it, and it's justified, so it spills off to the left and to the right. Now let's look at the formatting for our second line.
This is line 2.
Line 2.
Bolded, italicized, strike through, 18 point, light sky blue 3 on white, Times New Roman, normal style, line spacing colon single, paragraph formatting colon aligned right, outline level colon.
All right, so this line is a single space line, which means that right below it is the next line of text. There's no empty space beneath here, so it's nice and pressed together with the next line. There's one whole, it's single space. But this line, instead of being justified, is aligned to the right. And we've done this with keystrokes, with key commands. Beforehand, you'd have to use the paragraph dialog box to change these two attributes to go and, I want to center my text and I want to give it a double spacing. Now you don't have to do that. Simply select the lines of text that you want to have centered or right aligned or double spaced, and simply use your respective key commands. Control R to right align, Control L to left align, Control E to center, and Control J to justify. And for spacing, Control 1 on the number row, not on the number keypad. That won't work if you use the keypad. Control 1 to single space and Control 2 to double space. That just made our lives a lot easier. All right. So quickly, we'll go down the summary of keystrokes. For font, Control-Shift-F will activate the font dialog box. That's like activating the font ... button. Control-Shift-F. Control-B will bold a line of text that you're on or a selected section of text. Control-I will italicize. Control-Shift-Comma will decrease the font. Control-Shift-Period will increase the font size. Control-1 will single space. Control-2 will double space. Control-R will right align. Control-L will left align. Control-J will justify. There we go. And one more thing I want to show you guys. Let's insert a line at the very top here, a blank line at the top. And let's give this line a heading. And let's make this line stand out by giving it a heading style. We're not going to talk too much about changing styles, but we're going to use the default heading style to make this line appear as a heading. This is going to tell everyone this is the title of the document. And we're going to use a level 1 heading. And to do so, we're going to navigate to a line and we're going to use Control-Alt-1. Control-Alt-1.
Alt-Control-1.
And again, just like when you set the spacing of a line, it's not going to do anything other than announce the command, Control-Alt-1. Now I'm just going to type in the word title.
T-I-T-L-E.
All right, now I'm going to down arrow.
This is line 1.
And I'm going to move up one.
Heading level 1 title.
Title. Again, insert plus tab to repeat what I just repeat what it said.
Heading level 1 title.
Heading level 1 title. We've just applied our heading level 1 style to the first line of this document. And what this is, it serves us a twofold purpose here. One, now we've given this a professional heading look. It's the big, look at me, read me, this is what I'm about title, right? When you write a resume, you have your name at the top, or when you write a report with the title on top, you want this to be a heading that's going to stand out, and it's going to have its own predefined set of attributes. And that's all a style is a predefined set of attributes. Second, for you nerds who love accessibility, this is going to make navigating a document much simpler because headings give headings, just like web pages, give any document structure. And by structure, I mean it's going to break it up into those sections where you go, oh, this is what this section of the document is going to talk about. This section talks about do's and don'ts, heading level 1. And this section down here talks about policies, heading level 2. And really quickly, we're not going to go too deep into levels, but levels just mean subsections. Heading level 1 means the title. Usually you only have one level 1 heading in a document, the title. Level 2 is going to be a subtitle or a subsection. For example, when you have a document on the internet, heading level 1, uh, a history of birds, heading level 2, the Cretaceous period, heading level 2. Right? So we're starting off with a history and we're starting at the Cretaceous period, like Jurassic period. I don't know. There's not a geology webinar, so forgive me. So heading level 2 is going to be the history of birds during a given geological period. And then you can even go even further and say, all right, we're talking about a certain period. So heading level 3 is going to talk about the first half of the Jurassic period. And the next heading level 3 is going to talk about the second half. And then we're going to go to heading level 2, which talks about the next period in the history of birds. See, you're never going to use the level 1 heading in this document again, but you will alternate between 2 and 3. You can go as high as level 6 in our heading. Think of writing an outline for an essay or a speech. You have your point 1, 2, and 3, or Roman numerals I, and I, and then you have A, B, and C underneath each point. That's all headings represent. But really quickly, I want to demonstrate how headings make things so much easier for accessibility. So I'm going to insert another heading at the very end of the document.
Enter. Alt Control 1.
Alt Control 1, and give this
E,
end
N, E, so
of
S, B, O, C, U,
document.
E, N, E.
Now, let's navigate by heading. So I'm going to use the Quick Keys command, Control Z.
Quick keys on.
This will turn my Word document into a web page, essentially. Now, whenever I type, it's not going to enter letters into the document, but it's going to try and move me by a given element. We're not going to talk about this. We're just going to move by headings. And to move by a heading, we use the H key.
No more headings found.
No more headings because we're at the end of the document. But if I use Shift H,
Heading 1 title.
we go to the previous heading, which is the top of the document. If I use H,
Heading 1 end of document.
I'm at the end of the document. And this isn't moving me to the end and beginning of a document because that's what its function is. It's moving me by heading. It just so happens to be, and let me show you real quick. I'm going to go ahead and insert
This is line 3.
a heading here, line 3.
Alt Control 1.
And now I'm going to move by heading.
Heading 1 title.
Title.
Heading 1, this is line 3. Heading 1 end of document.
See?
No more headings.
No more headings. We have 3 headings here. One at the very top, one in the middle, and one at the very end. If I was building a document, I would give it structure for the blind and for professionalism's sake by using these headings. Control-Alt-1 is going to give me the heading level 1. And let's quickly look at how it looks on the format checker. So insert F here.
Heading level 1 end of document. 16 point. Steel blue 4 on white. Calibri light. Heading 1 style. Line spacing : 0 lines. Paragraph formatting : aligned left. Outline level : 1.
So here you saw outline level is 1 instead of body text. So it's at level 1 heading. And you also heard instead of normal style, we're using the heading level 1 style. Again, let's hear it. Insert F.
16 point. Steel blue 4 on white. Calibri light. Heading 1 style. Line spacing :
Heading 1 style. It's also at 16 point. Calibri and blue. Let's go below here and make it heading level 2. Control Alt 2.
Alt Control 2.
And just so you know, Control Alt 3 will make level 3, 4, 5, and 6 respectively will do the same. So let's go ahead and do.
There is no hyperlinks and quick keys off.
Let's turn quick keys off with Control. We'll turn quick keys off so we can resume our typing with Insert Z, and we'll go ahead and type subtitle.
This is line heading level 2 end of misspelled. Heading level 2 end of misspelled document subtitle.
Oops, I didn't insert a space. So let's
title misspelled document sub U-F-E-N-T-S.
Let's find the S of subtitle and press enter to insert a line break.
Enter.
All right.
Heading level 2 end. Heading level 2 subtitle.
All right. Now let's see what a heading level 2 looks like.
13 point. Steel blue 4 on white. Calibri light. Heading 2 style. Line spacing colon 1 lines. Paragraph formatting.
So the font is 13 instead of 16, but everything else essentially remains the same. This is telling us that, hey, this is a subtitle, not the main title. Heading level 1 is going to tell us what the document is supposed to be about, and level 2 is going to tell us what a section is supposed to be like. So heading level 3 would have use a smaller font, so on and so forth. This is all it is. I mean, you can easily format a document without even having to use the dialog box. Most basic formatting doesn't even require you venture into a dialog box. It can all be done using keystrokes and key commands. If you want to start doing things like adding bullets or adjusting the size of the margins or other given things, you will have to go and use the ribbon. And we can do a webinar in the future if you guys are interested about more advanced slash intermediate formatting concepts using the ribbon, because again, not everything has a respective key command, but most things that are very common and basic do. All right.
7:23 p.
It's 7:20. I was just checking the time real quick because I do want to show one last thing, and that's a spell check real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and hit F7 to run us a spell check. If you want to run a spell check, F7 will start that. You can also run a spell check from the review tab in the ribbon, but why do that when you can just press F7?
F7. Editor overview. 0 suggestions. Review all suggestions button. A.
No suggestions here.
Corrections card list box. Corrections colon 1 expanded.
All right, let's see what our corrections are.
Grammar colon. These words work better combined into one word. Subtitle. Suggestions. Subtitle 1 of 1. SUBTITLE period.
So right here, it found one not misspelling, but one grammatical mistake. My sub space title should be one word. And it told me so. So it automatically puts me into the suggestions list, and I have one of two options. I can do Alt C to change it to the suggestion, or I can do Alt I to ignore and preserve my original form. In this case, Alt I would preserve subspace title. Alt C would implement the suggestion of subtitle with no space. We also have Alt A, which will change all occurrences. So, if, for example, if I had subspace title like 20 times in this document, Alt A would change all occurrences of that particular instance. It would change it to my suggestion in one go. Alt G would do the opposite, where it would ignore all occurrences uh, and and preserve my original form. So Alt C will change one occurrence, Alt I will ignore one occurrence, Alt A will change all occurrences, and Alt G will ignore all occurrences. So we'll do Alt C.
Alt C. Corrections card list box. Corrections colon 1 expanded. Microsoft Word dialog. You have finished reviewing editor suggestions. OK button. Edit.
And we have finished editing the document. F7 again will launch the spell checker. There's a lot of cool things you can do in there. You can add words to a dictionary or change and spell check the document using different languages. I've used Spanish before, but in simplicity's sakes, for simplicity's sakes, F7 will put you into the first instance of a misspelling or a perceived grammatical error, and then it's going to announce it to you. And then you can use Insert C to read the context. Insert C is going to tell you this is the context that the word is being used in, and it's going to read you part of the sentence. That way, you know, oh, that's right. That part of the document was the it's where that was at, and you can then decide whether or not you want to change something. So that's that. I can expand on the spell checker on a later episode if you guys like as well. But for simplicity's sake, that's really all. That's all there is to the spell checker. Uh, if there's any questions, please go ahead and ask them now while I go over my typical spiel. We want to thank everybody for joining us
Alert
tonight.
from test to everyone colon. Thank you so much for joining us.
I want to thank you all for joining us today.
Alert from
It's been
Diana
a
to all
wonderful,
panelists. How
wonderful
do we find
presentation.
keyboard shortcut keys?
Oh, keyboard shortcut keys. There's a handout Diane, I will email you that handout with all the shortcut keys that I wrote up. And if anyone else wants it, please ask for it or email me. Aaron, if you don't mind, drop our emails into the chat box. But yeah, I'll get that to you, Diane. I wrote up a whole
Alerts
list
from
of keystrokes, and you can check those out at your leisure. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And I do want to urge everyone, if you are
Eric?
looking for classes, yes?
Sorry to cut in. Diana has another question.
Oh, what was it?
She says Control Insert Alt H does not work in JAWS.
Insert Alt H. Insert Alt. Oh, for the headings? If you mean for headings, it's a Control Alt 1 through 6 for a respective heading. I don't think Insert Alt H does anything.
Alert from Diana to all panelists: for JAWS commands. Here are some JAWS hot windows.
Oh, it's a Insert H. Insert H will bring up JAWS commands.
Escape.
And Insert W
The following MS Word shortcut
will bring up Windows commands.
Escape.
So if you do Insert H,
Alert from test to everyone: Aaron.Hoffman.
Yep. If you do Insert H, it will bring up a list of JAWS commands for an application, and Insert W will bring up a list of Windows commands. So there's a little bit of that. And if you do
test to everyone:
if you do Insert space and then J,
leaving menus, search for
you
JAWS.
can search for commands. So that's pretty cool right there. So again, that's Insert space and then the letter J. So it's a two command. Insert space by itself, and then you let it go, and then you hit the letter J, and that's going to bring up a little window where you can search for JAWS commands. So those three: Insert H will bring up a list of JAWS commands, Insert W will bring up a list of Windows commands, and then the two key command, Insert space J, will bring up a little search box where you can look for commands. But I will email you the cheat sheet of commands that I went over tonight, Diane, ASAP. I want to thank everyone else for joining us tonight. Dr. Laura Miller for bringing us her clients, and for anyone else joining us in the future on our archive. And we are getting, we're trying to upload those guys, so please bear with us. Also, if you guys are interested in taking classes, whether they be remote or in person at Travis Association for the Blind, jot this number down: 512-647-4625. Call us and we will schedule you for an assessment where we'll sit down and evaluate your needs. Then we can work with you and give you the classes that you want. And again, that's 512-647-4625, or you can email Aaron or myself. Aaron posted our emails in the chat box. I want to thank everyone tonight for joining us, and stay tuned for 2 weeks where I kick off a Microsoft Excel. I believe it's going to be a 3-parter. So join us where we're going to talk about Excel. We're going to do some very basic navigation next time, using the ribbon to do things in the workbook, navigating by cells and rows and columns and worksheets, and understanding what each one of those things are. And then we're going to be making a cool little cell spreadsheet in a few webinars where we put it all together and use little formulas and functions to make magic happen using math. So stay tuned for us tune in with us in 2 weeks for the kickoff to our Excel series. We look forward to seeing you all. Everybody take care. Have a wonderful night. Till then, bye-bye.
Take care.
End meeting or leave. Escape. Open party. Alt Q. End meeting or leave meeting. Leave meeting but cancel. Leave meeting but cancel. Leave space.